This place is a bust. Barry wiped the blackened filth from the bayonet he'd fixed on his M1. I'm with Barry, Dave chimed in. So was I, but seeing the pained look on Aaron's face, I couldn't bring myself to put the final verbal nail in the coffin. I don't like saying this. Barry's eyes locked on mine. But it just doesn't seem likely that we will find Ian or Billy, or anybody. Whatever rolled through this town. And the camp, Dave blurted. And the camp. Barry agreed, flashing an annoyed look at Dave, who appeared absolutely clueless as to how his comments, while fairly accurate of what all of us except for Aaron felt, were dashing the remnants of hope any of us had of finding our friends, dead, alive, or undead. But we've accounted for everybody else on that patrol except for Billy and Ian, Aaron insisted. That's because they made sure to put every single soldier from that foraging team on display, Barry said. That's how we'd been able to account for Joseph. They'd hung him from a street sign. More accurately, they'd hung what was left. They wanted to send a message to the United States Army, I added. If you ask me, I think that this is the work of one of those nutjob militia types. Those groups have waited for some sort of apocalypse for years. They have some misguided fantasy that the Constitution allows them to avoid getting a driver's license, paying taxes. All sorts of fringe crap under some mythical sovereign declaration. What in the hell are you going on about? Dave asked. Remember Oklahoma City and that federal building that got blown up? Barry piped in. Dave nodded. Well, there's groups all over the country that are like those assholes. Everything's a conspiracy. Waco, Ruby Ridge, 9/11. I imagine that they've pinned this nightmare on the government as well. Most of them are closet KKK members. And there it was. I was wondering why Barry had jumped into this so suddenly. I'm just saying that whoever attacked our foragers and our camp were well organized, but they have an obvious dislike for the boys in uniform. My guess is a local militia. That means they are very structured. Our best bet is to put this place behind us. I slung my M4 over my shoulder. And just abandon Billy? Aaron's voice trembled. And Ian, Barry added. We aren't just abandoning them, Aaron. We have a responsibility to ourselves, each other. Like Dahlia. That made Aaron's head snap up. We looked. Now we pray for them. If they're alive, we hope and pray for their peace. Neither Dave nor I had anything to add. I was more than a little surprised when Dave went over and put his arms around Aaron in a comforting hug. Aaron's shoulders slumped, and his muffled sobs were barely audible. Footsteps approached, and I turned to see Jamie and Teresa coming up the grassy hill. They'd insisted on making one last trip down to Camila. I didn't see the reason. We'd been on this hill for 10 days and not seen one single sign of anything living. We'd gone so far as to torch a pile of zombies that we'd dragged to where the party's burned-out vehicles sat. At night, we'd scanned the area with the pair of night vision-equipped binoculars that Paul Wimmer had given us. The only thing we'd truly accomplished in the week and a half that we'd been here was a drastic thinning of the zombie population.